Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today, and we are starting here with Ghost of Yotei. Just a reminder, in case anybody missed it, the stated play for Ghost of Yotei is confirmed to be happening tomorrow, July 10th, and Sucker Punch did confirm it's going to be a 20-minute gameplay deep dive where they obviously tell us more about the story, but they're going to be showing off new weapons, new ways to personalize your journey, new special modes, and much more. So if you want to come hang out with me tomorrow, I will be live streaming it and reacting to it. Feel free to do so, but I know that this is something that a lot of people have been eagerly anticipating. So yeah, not much longer to wait now. But we are moving on from that, talking about another update, this time from Naughty Dog, for what they're calling chronological mode. They say here on the PlayStation blog, it's been such a thrilling time for us here at Naughty Dog, especially as we've welcomed so many old and new fans of The Last of Us into the franchise. To celebrate all of your support, we have a surprise in the form of a free update hitting The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered today. Available for players as part of a downloadable update today, we've introduced a new way to play the story of The Last of Us Part 2 like never before, chronologically. Those who have already played will know its story is told non-linearly, as Ellie and Abby's motivations, realizations, and emotional stakes unfold across myriad flashbacks and present-day storylines. While the structure is very intentional and core to how our studio wanted Part 2's themes and narrative beats to impact players, we always wondered what it would be like to experience this story chronologically, and now finally we can answer that question. Through the new chronological mode, we believe players will gain even deeper insight into Part 2's narrative. Players will be able to see how Ellie being gifted a guitar flows so neatly into her learning to play, for example. While the journey through Seattle will showcase the fascinating parallels between Ellie and Abby's crisscrossing journeys, you will see just how close they come into running to each other, how their actions impact each other, and more. It was no small feat to bring The Last of Us Part 2's story chronologically together, given that Part 2's story is so meticulously put together. We're grateful to the developers both at Naughty Dog and our partners at Nixxes to make the chronological mode as smooth as possible. And while we of course recommend players still new to the game to play through Part 2's story as was originally developed, the team's hard work has paid off with a fascinating new way to enjoy this chapter. And we also wanted to reward players for jumping into this new transformative approach to our story. In addition to new trophies tied to completing the narrative experience in chronological order, doing so will also unlock two new, perhaps surprisingly familiar skins. That's right, play as Joel dressed as Nathan Drake and Tommy as Sam Drake in No Return. Particularly as we celebrate Naughty Dog's 40th anniversary this year, we love getting the chance to spotlight and share in the history of our studio that we love as much as we know you do. These skins will be unlocked for completing the narrative in chronological and will be usable in No Return, Part 2 Remastered's thrilling roguelike survival mode. A new update for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is available today on both PS5 and PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store, bringing with it the chronological mode as well as a host of additional bug fixes and performance improvements. We here at Naughty Dog are so grateful for all the love and support we've seen from The Last of Us fans these last few months, from the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on PC, to The Last of Us Complete on PlayStation 5, to seeing your weekly reactions to Season 2 of the television series. It's been such a pleasure to celebrate this moment with you. So there you go, that is the entire PlayStation blog write-up, but yeah, this was quite a surprise. I know that some people are absolutely tired of Naughty Dog talking about The Last of Us, but honestly, I'm not really sure how you could be upset with something like this. It's a free update for anybody who is still playing the game or planning to play it, and I have to be honest, the chronological mode is a very interesting update. One of the main criticisms that people had in regards to The Last of Us Part 2 was its pacing and the way it was very jarring in the way it tried to tell the story by kind of, doing the flashbacks the way that they did and having you kind of play as Abby for an entire half of the game. It is certainly interesting to think how differently the story could be perceived if you were able to play it in chronological order. The final thing I want to say here is how Naughty Dog highlights that this was actually such a significant update that Nixxes Software help them work on it and develop it. So to me, that's kind of interesting. It means this is something that they really wanted to do and get done. So let me know if you're going to go back and play The Last of Us Part 2 in the new chronological mode. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is more good news for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. This comes courtesy of Genki Japan over on Twitter, and he says that Death Stranding 2 was the #1 most downloaded game on the PlayStation Store in Japan for June, also #1 in the US. So obviously we don't have much sales data for Death Stranding 2 on the beach, but we do want to see this game perform well. We want to make sure that the cost to develop this game, it can at least recoup it, hopefully make a profit, because we don't get games like Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2 on the beach that often. In fact, I'm going to say that these games are, so unique that we're not really ever going to see something quite like it again if Death Stranding 2 is in fact the last game in the series that we get. So I want to see it do well. I think a lot of people who are playing it want to see it do well, and I will continue to update you guys, but this is looking pretty good. This is looking promising. Moving on to the next topic, Sony has officially confirmed that they will be attending Tokyo Game Show 2025. This year's Tokyo Game Show is set to be the largest in the event's history, with a huge total of 772 exhibitioners currently listed for participation across a whopping 4,083 booths. The likes of Sony, Square Enix, Sega, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Koei Tecmo, and Konami are just some of the biggest Japanese names amongst them. But so much of the show floor will actually be taken up by overseas exhibitioners. 299 of the listed companies are headed to the event from outside of Japan, which really hammers home how much of a global expo Tokyo Game Show has become in recent times. So yeah, I don't know that we're going to be getting an actual keynote of any kind from Sony at Tokyo Game Show. They stopped doing that a while ago. But still, it is nice to see that they're still partaking in it, and who knows, maybe they could have a little something this year. I just wouldn't necessarily get your hopes up. But for anybody wondering if Sony was going to be attending once again, the answer is yes, they will be there. Moving on to the next topic, we have an update regarding the PlayStation 4. Being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, Sony Interactive Entertainment has just rolled out PS4 System Software Update 12.52, and the modding/jailbreaking community isn't going to be too happy about this one. Unlike the last firmware update that brought usability improvements, this one patches security exploits and vulnerabilities. On its official website, Sony only disclosed the following detail: "We've made some security fixes to the system software." In other words, this will set the modding community back a bit. The PS4 has already been jailbroken to quite an extent that we've seen beloved delisted games like Drive Club brought back to life in all its 60 FPS glory, but Sony's been super quick in plugging vulnerabilities. After all, a sizable chunk of the PlayStation community is still using the PS4. So yeah, just thought I would let you guys know about this. I don't know how many of you are interested in what's going on with the PS4, but Sony is still obviously paying attention to the jailbreaking and modding community when it comes to this console. And yeah, if you're somebody who was partaking in that to any extent, this is something you might want to be aware of. But moving on from that, we are talking about a game that originally wasn't going to be coming to PlayStation 5, and the developer even went on record saying that they weren't developing a PlayStation 5 version, that game being Stalker 2. This is a game that was an exclusive to the Xbox console, seemingly a timed exclusive, and again, the dev, when they were asked, can we expect this to come to PS5 at all? They said, no, we're not working on that right now. But now it's been confirmed that Stalker 2 is planned to release on PS5 in late 2025. And they say that enhancements for the PS5 Pro are also in development. I know a lot of people really like Stalker 2, and it's gotten quite a bit of praise, and it's apparently a really well-made game. So yeah, I thought that this was something that was certainly worth highlighting. Again, we didn't know if this was ever going to make its way over. Now we're just getting that confirmation. Not only is it coming late 2025, it's going to get the Pro enhancement, it's going to get the whole treatment. So let me know if this is a game you're planning on picking up. It does say that you can wishlist it now, and I will update you guys when we actually get the set release date. But that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.